Hi, my name is Celine from the Math Resource Center at HEC in the Murray campus. In this video, we are going over the Determinants and Cramer's Rule worksheet, question 1, parts A, B, and C. The question reads, use Cramer's rule to solve each system. Let's begin with part A. To apply Cramer's rule, we are going to take the coefficients of our variables and put them into a determinant. Since we are going to solve for x first, our first column will have these values, which are the solution to our system. So the first column will look like this. And for the second column, we'll use the coefficients of the y values, -1, -1, and 3. Finally, the third column would have the coefficients of the z values, 2, 3, and -1. Now we are going to divide this determinant by the determinant of our system. Now we solve for x. We are going to multiply 9 times the determinant of these four values. So we have 9 times the determinant of -1, 3, 3, and -1, minus our second value, which is -1, that multiplies the determinant of these values. 15, -9, 3, and -1, plus our third value, which is 2, times the determinant of these four values. 15, -9, -1, and 3. Now let's move on to the denominator part. To find this determinant, we are going to multiply our first value, 1, times the determinant of these four values. So we have 1 times the determinant of -1, 3, 3, and -1, minus our second value is -1. So we have -1 times the determinant of these two values, 2, -1, 3, and -1, plus our third value, which is 2, times the determinant of these four values, 2, -1, -1, and 3. Now we'll start solving for x. Our first term will look like this. 9 that multiplies -1 times -1 is 1, minus 3 times 3 is 9. -1 and the negative sign become +1. That multiplies 15 times -1 is -15, minus -9 times 3 is -27, plus 2 that multiplies 15 times 3 equals 45, minus -9 times -1 is 9. In the denominator, we have 1 that multiplies the determinant of -1, 3, 3, and -1. So we're going to solve it like this. 1 that multiplies -1 times -1 is 1, minus 3 times 3 is 9. Since we have two negative signs, this term becomes positive. So we get plus 1 that multiplies 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 minus 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 plus 2 that multiplies 2 times 3, which is 6, minus negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Now perform these calculations to find x. And we get that x equals 4. Now let's move on to finding y. We are going to start by taking the coefficients of the x and putting them in the first column. Since we want to find the y values, we are going to substitute our solutions into the second column. And finally, we are going to take the coefficients of c and put them in the third column. And we are going to divide it by the determinant of our system. Now we are going to solve the determinants. We have 1 that multiplies the determinant of 15, 3, negative 9, and negative 1, minus 9 that multiplies the determinant of 2, negative 1, 3, and negative 1, plus 2 that multiplies the determinant of 2, 15, negative 1, and negative 9. Since we already calculated the determinant of the system, we know that it is 3. Now we can solve for y. The determinant of the first term looks like this. Negative 15 plus 27 minus 9 that multiplies negative 2 plus 3 plus 2 that multiplies negative 18 plus 15 divided by 3. And we get that y equals negative 1. Now we are going to find z. For the first and second column, we are going to use the coefficients of x and y. And since we are trying to find z, in the third column, we are going to have the solution to our system. And in the denominator, we are going to have the determinant of the system. Now we are going to solve the determinants. We're going to say 1 times the determinant of these 4 values minus negative 1 times the determinant of these 4 values plus 9 times the determinant of these 4 values. And we already know that the determinant of the system is 3. Now we can solve for z. Our first determinant is 9 minus 45. Since we have two negative signs, this becomes a positive, and we have negative 18 plus 15. And finally we have 9 that multiplies 6 minus 1 divided by 3. Now we can solve this to find z. and we get that z equals 2. So the solution to this system is x equals 4, y equals -1, and z equals 2. Now let's move on to part B. Since we are trying to find x, we are going to take the solution to our system and put it in the first column. And then we are going to take the coefficients of y and put them in the second column. And in the denominator, we will have the determinant of the system. Now we can solve the determinants. We'll have 4 times 1 minus 6 times 6 over -2 times 1 minus 5 times 6. And we get that x equals 1. To find y, we are going to take the coefficients of x and put them in the first column. And since we are trying to find y, we are going to take the solution values and put them in the second column. We are going to divide that determinant by the determinant of the system as we did before. Let's solve the determinants. -2 times 6 equals -12 minus 5 times 4 equals 20 over the determinant of the system, which is -32, and we get that -12 minus 20 is -32 over -32, which is 1. So the solution to this system is x equals 1 and y equals 1. Now let's move on to part C. Let's begin finding a. Place the solution values in the first column and divide the determinant by the determinant of the whole system. Now let's solve the determinants. We'll have -5 that multiplies the determinant of these 4 terms, minus 1 that multiplies the determinant of these 4 terms, plus 0 times the determinant of these values. Denominator, we're going to have -1 that multiplies the determinant of these 4 values, minus 1 times the determinant of these 4 terms, plus 0 that multiplies the determinant of these 4 terms. Now we can solve the determinants to find a. First we have -5 that multiplies -2 times 2 minus -1 times 6, which is +6, minus -5 times 2 minus 8 times 6, plus any number multiplied by 0 is 0. In the denominator, we'll have negative sign times -2 times 2 minus -1 times 6 minus -5 times 2 minus -4 times 6, and 0 times this determinant is 0. Now we can solve for a. And we get that a equals -3. Now let's move on to finding b. To find b, put the solutions of the system in the second column and the coefficients of a in the first column and the coefficients of c in the third column, all divided by the determinant of the system. Now let's solve the determinants. And as we know, the determinant of the system is -16. Now solve the determinants. And we get that b equals -8. Now let's find c. Since we are trying to find c, our solution values will be in the third column. A coefficients will be in the first column and b coefficients will be in the second column. And in the denominator, we will have the determinant of the system. Now we're going to solve for c. Let's work on the numerator first. And as we know, the determinant of the system is -16. Once we solve the determinant, we get these values. And we get that c equals -6. So the solution to this system of equations is a equals -3, b equals -8, and c equals -6. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions.